The road was empty for miles. Cracked asphalt cut through the forest like an old scar. A thin smoke curled through the air, quiet and constant. No traffic, no voices. Only the sound of wind brushing against rusted street signs. A faded board stood at the edge of the road, its letters barely readable. Welcome to Centralia. Once, this was a normal American town. A place where kids rode bicycles after school, where the church bells rang on Sunday mornings, and families gathered for picnics on the 4th of July. Welcome to HEH TV. Here, truth meets history, and the forgotten corners of the past find light again. Today, we explore the haunting story of America's lost silent towns, real places that once thrived, but now lie buried under time, disaster, and silence. Our story begins in Centralia, Pennsylvania. In May 1962, a group of volunteers was burning trash at the town landfill. What started as a small local cleanup changed history forever. Beneath the ground lay an old network of coal mines stretching for miles. A fire caught the coal. It spread silently underground, moving from tunnel to tunnel, invisible but unstoppable. At first, people ignored the smoke. They thought it would burn out in a few days. But months passed, then years. The ground began to crack open. Carbon monoxide seeped through basements. Roads buckled. By the 1980s, the fire had consumed hundreds of acres beneath the town. The U.S. government ordered an evacuation. Some families refused to leave. They stayed in their homes, surrounded by smoke and silence. One resident said, "This is my town. I was born here. I'll die here." Today, only a handful of houses remain. Mailboxes still stand, but there's no mail. Streets lead nowhere. The fire still burns underground, and scientists believe it could keep burning for another 200 years. Centralia is not a legend. It is a warning about what happens when human ambition meets nature's power. Now, travel 2,000 miles west to the ghostly hills of the Sierra Nevada mountains. In the late 1800s, Bodie was a booming gold mining town. Over 10,000 people lived here. Miners, gamblers, preachers, and thieves, all chasing fortune. The streets were alive with noise, gunshots, laughter, the clinking of glasses from the saloons. Newspapers called it a sea of sin surrounded by mountains. But the gold ran out. Winters turned brutal. People began to leave, one wagon at a time. By the early 1900s, Bodie was nearly empty. Today, it stands frozen in time. The state of California preserves it in arrested decay. That means nothing is repaired, but nothing is allowed to collapse. Inside old homes, chairs still sit at dusty tables. School books lie open. Bottles line bar shelves. Everything remains as it was left. Walk through Bodie, and you'll feel time watching you. The air is thin, the silence heavy. It is not hard to imagine voices echoing through the streets, voices that haven't been heard in more than a century. Further north, deep in the glaciers of Alaska, lies Kennecott. In 1903, explorers discovered one of the richest copper deposits in the world. The Kennecott copper mine changed everything. Thousands of workers came here, living in rows of red wooden houses beneath snow-covered peaks. Trains carried ore across frozen valleys. The town had a hospital, a school, even a recreation hall. Then, in 1938, it ended overnight. The copper ran out. The company shut down. Families packed up and left. What remains is a skeleton of industry-rusted rails, collapsed mills, and wooden buildings still standing against the cold wind. Kennecott tells a story of speed, ambition, and sudden silence. How a place built by human hands can vanish as fast as it appeared. Far to the south, hidden near the Alabama River, is Cahaba, the first capital of Alabama. Built in 1819, it was a proud symbol of new beginnings in the early United States. But frequent floods from the river destroyed homes and drove people away. By the 1860s, the Civil War turned the town into a Confederate prison site. After the war, disease and more floods forced everyone to abandon it. Today, only ruins remain: old brick walls, fragments of cemeteries, and the sound of water moving where streets once were. Cahaba is a place where history itself eroded away. Ghost towns aren't just about disasters. Some died because technology changed. Railroads shifted. Highways moved. Industries vanished. When people left, towns lost their pulse. And in America's wide landscapes, distance means death. Hundreds of ghost towns exist across the United States, some famous, others unknown. Each tells a story about what people chased and what they lost. In the deserts of Nevada, mining towns like Rhyolite stand empty under the burning sun. In Texas, oil towns that once boomed now crumble into dust. In the Midwest, the Dust Bowl of the 1930s forced entire communities to flee. Every ghost town is a piece of American memory, a frozen moment of ambition, collapse, and time. When you drive across America, it's easy to think the country is endless. Highways stretch forever, towns appear and vanish. But scattered across those endless miles are places that time forgot, towns that burned, drowned, froze, or simply faded away. They remind us that progress always comes with a cost, that every booming city, every rising skyline, carries the same fragile heartbeat. Listen closely, and maybe you can still hear it. The echo of laughter, footsteps, and voices calling from streets that no longer exist. These are the silent towns of America, once alive, now eternal.